So in this presentation, I'm going to be sharing a little bit more about the research that's being conducted in the Child Development Department and how various faculty are leading different cutting edge research around different topics in child development. I'm hoping that you can understand also a little bit more about how research labs function at the university. And I'll end this presentation with sharing some tips and resources on getting involved in research. So you'll see different hyperlinks throughout. So those are links with additional information you should click and learn more. But let me just start off by sharing, what is research? What do I mean when I'm talking about research? Well, research is us systematically investigating some problem with often different goals and questions that arise from independent researchers. So research uses scientific procedures usually to discover answers to set research questions, and it's often guided by an existing theory because we're trying to either accept or reject certain theories. And faculty serve as the researchers that are often guiding the investigation of certain problems or issues, like in the field of child development, which is what I'll share next. So let's first talk about different faculty in our department. We have faculty who are full-time faculty, so you might also hear tenure track faculty or assistant or associate or full professor faculty. And then we also have part-time faculty who are serving as lecturers. So for the lecturers in our department, their primary responsibility is teaching. So they're not usually conducting independent research, but are very familiar with the research processes and programs that are ongoing. Full-time faculty, however, are serving as principal investigators on research programs. So I'm going to keep referring to principal investigator or PI. And what I mean by that is this is the individual responsible for preparing, conducting, administrating, supervising a particular research project. So full-time faculty often have their own research programs that they're supervising, that they serve as PIs on, and they're usually doing this research as part of a collaborative or as part of a lab, a research lab, and they're very familiar with procedures and programs involved in research. So before I go over the program of research or faculty in the Department of Child Development are involved in, let me just cover what are research labs. So oftentimes, in addition to teaching and other duties that faculty are conducting in the Child Development Department, most tenure track faculty also have active research labs that are focused on different areas or topics within the field. So for example, early childhood, motivation, cognition, civic engagement. And in these research labs or conducting this research program, faculty are continuously collecting data, they're analyzing it, and they're preparing it for publication. So how you can get involved in these research labs is by being a research assistant or an RA in a faculty member's research lab. And it's one of the best ways to get research and applied experiences while in undergrad. And not to mention, it also looks great on your resume or your applications to graduate school if you're interested. So research labs, how they work is they generally have a main focus that's guided by a lead faculty member. So this lead faculty member is also known as the PI or principal investigator, almost like a detective. And that faculty member is generally also the advisor or main point person or mentor for their students who are involved in that research lab. So if you hear the term faculty member, professor, PI, or advisor, generally this is referring to the same person for any given lab. So let's hear about the different labs. We'll start with Team Access Lab. This is the Access to Childcare and Equity for Students lab. And this is run under Dr. Amy Van Shagen. And Dr. Van Shagen does focus on early childhood education and really with an emphasis on improving early learning environments for students, but with a particular focus on teacher work environments, their education, and also equity issues that teachers face in the early childhood area. So if you're interested in learning more or getting involved, you can reach out to Dr. Van Shagen. Next up, we have the Bast Lab. BFAST stands for Building Executive Function for Academic Success Training. This lab is run as a part of the Institute for Child and Family Relations on our campus. And it's the PI for this lab is Dr. Eugene Wong, who does a lot of amazing work in schools and K through 12 settings with K through 12 students. And the focus of the lab is to really use computer-based cognitive training to improve working memory and executive functioning for students. And they are often accepting research assistants, so BFAST is really an excellent way for you to get clinically related experience that goes beyond your coursework. So look out for any research opportunities from BFAST.
Hi, this is Dr. Lisa Looney, and I run the Beliefs and Motivation Research Lab, known as BMORE. My lab focuses on conducting research centered on understanding how the beliefs people hold impact their motivation. Much of my work focuses on beliefs and motivation in educational settings. For instance, this work explores such things as teachers' self-beliefs, such as how much they value teaching and how much they believe they can be successful in teaching, and how these beliefs impact teachers' desire to challenge their students, to persist in the face of difficulties in the classroom, and their motivation to stay in the profession. I also work to understand perceptions of environmental factors, such as feelings of belongingness or a sense of community within a school setting, and how that impacts beliefs and motivation for students and for teachers. Most recently, I have begun to examine college students' perceptions of whether their professors care about their well-being and success, and how that is related to these students' academic motivation, their connectedness to the university, and their desire to continue in school. Some of my work also focuses on the home environment, exploring beliefs and motivational constructs with parents. For instance, I examine parents' beliefs about their ability to be a good parent and how that might impact their parenting styles, and how their children's behavior might impact the beliefs they form about their own parenting. To join the Be More Lab, no research experience is required. My goal for students in my lab is for them to learn about how research is conducted, and this is done through allowing students to participate in various aspects of projects and walking them through the steps necessary to be a successful researcher. There is also no specific time commitment needed. I meet with each student to discuss how much time they have to devote to the process. And then I build an experience that allows them to fit this work in amongst other responsibilities they might have. So if any of this work interests you, I encourage you to reach out and join the work we're doing in the Be More Lab.
If you are into youth engagement, civic engagement, unpacking things like social identity or intersectionality of identities, really looking at how we engage young people in action with a focus on adolescents and college-aged youth, well, the ENAC lab is the place for you to learn more. This lab is run by Dr. Stacey Morris and I, Manpreet Dilobrar, and you can reach out to us to learn more or get connected at ENAC lab at csusb.edu.
Hi, I am Keting Chen, an assistant professor in the Department of Child Development and the principal investigator of the Math and Child Lab, known as Mac Lab. Our lab focuses on early STEM literacy research involving children, parents, and teachers. We are currently working on two projects. One examines parent-child interactions during shared reading to understand how parents support young children's learning at home, and the other is a multi-site study with over 100 labs worldwide, investigating the foundation of number cognition in young children. I am looking for 1 to 2 students to volunteer in my lab. No prior research experience is required, but enthusiasm and a commitment of at least 10 hours per week are preferred. If you are interested or want to learn more, please reach out.
Hello everyone, I am Hyungwoo Kang and I lead the Field Tech Lab. Field Tech stands for Fostering Equitable Early Learning Through Technology. One of the exciting projects I'm currently working on is understanding how play-integrated technologies such as Scratch Junior and digital storytelling can support young children's social and emotional development. So, if you're interested in learning more or getting involved, please reach out to me.
Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Kevin Rosales. I am one of the newer faculty in our child development department. I just wanted to share a little bit more about my research lab so that if any of you are interested, please feel free to ask more questions or reach out to me. So the name of my lab is called the Mind Lab, and it stands for Measuring Individual Differences in Cognition Lab. I am a cognitive development researcher, and specifically what we do is we focus on numerous aspects of children's and adults' cognitive development. So at the core of the research lab is understanding individual differences in cognition. And simply what that means is understanding why people differ in their ability to think. Why are some people different when it comes to their thinking compared to others? And of course that we address at the level of children as well. So components of that include psychometrics, which is simply understanding how we can measure children's ability to think and refining those measures and having more accurate measures. Cognitive modeling, so understanding how these different abilities can be modeled and understanding the model of this set of abilities. We work with things like working memory, attention, executive functions, and intelligence. So all of these are important for our kiddos to be able to go about their day-to-day. We also focus on predicting other real-world outcomes, mainly academic achievement, but some of my work will start to extend into the sports scene and understanding how sports can be a beneficial catalyst for improving children's cognition. And finally, tied to that is the whole idea of cognitive intervention. So our lab collaborates a lot with Dr. Wang's lab in trying to investigate how we can develop interventions that can remediate some hiccups in children's cognition and adolescence and so forth. So with that said, that is in a nutshell what the Mind Lab focuses on. My lab really draws on solid theoretical frameworks to be able to understand the work that we do. We draw a lot on statistical techniques, and so if you are interested in the lab, you will gain a wide array of skills like data collection procedures, be able to understand cognition at a deeper level, be able to play around with statistical software and polish up those skills. All of these skills which are very appealing to graduate school committees and so on. So if you're interested in any of this, please reach out to me. My email is kevin.rosales@csusb.edu. I look forward to hearing from you all. Thank you.
Wilcox to talk about the work that I have going on. So I don't have traditional research labs right now. As a department chair, I really don't have opportunities or time to conduct research in the way that I did before I became chair, but I do have grant-funded projects that I supervise. So I have two projects. I have Quality Start, which is in both Riverside and San Bernardino counties. And for this project, we go out into the community and we assess childcare programs to assess their quality, and then we use the data that we collect to support coaching efforts. So we provide
reports to coaches who then go help childcare programs to improve their quality. So with Quality Start, there are paid assessor positions. So if you are interested in working as an assessor, please reach out to me and I can put you in touch with the folks who can get you going with an interview and see if that's something that will work out for you. I also have a project called Child Care Access Means Parents in Schools. So we provide supports to student parents on campus. We help pay for their childcare. We provide virtual services and not virtual materials, but materials that they can take home with them. We have a student parent study center on campus. So we are always looking for volunteers, people who are interested in participating in those programs to get more experience with direct support to this particular population. So if either of those projects sounds interesting to you, please don't hesitate to reach out and I'll be happy to provide you with more information.
So I keep talking about your interest, but let's really talk about what that means. So getting involved in research, I want to share with you why you should participate in research as an undergraduate student, how you can get connected to research opportunities, and also what does being a research assistant really entail? So working in a research lab really offers students an excellent opportunity to develop a relationship with a faculty member who works in your area of interest. Research mentors can provide guidance to students as you're contemplating career choices and can also help students pinpoint your interests. So this is a great way to build a close relationship with the faculty member. But there's other reasons. So next up, I want to share with you and ask you to watch a brief video from our Office for Student Research that really talks about what participating in research activities can bring for you and what level of interest and experience you really need to participate in ongoing research on our campus more broadly, but also applies to our Department of Child Development. So let's talk about how you actually get connected to research opportunities. There's this APA article I've linked that has 5 tips for getting involved in research that you can review. But most often it begins by reaching out to faculty. So really just reaching out to them to ask about research opportunities that they might have available. And you can offer to volunteer on their research projects, but some faculty might also have paid opportunities that you can participate in as a research assistant. And if a professor is not in need of an RA, contact another faculty member. Even if their work's not as appealing, some research experience can be a lot better than no experience at all, especially at the undergraduate level. So not every professor in the department will take research assistants or students each year. So it's really important that you don't give up after reaching out to one and offer to volunteer on other research projects. If you're taking a class with a faculty member and they tend to talk a lot about, or we tend to teach classes that are related to our interests, well, reach out to them during office hours or by email and ask if they have any research assistant opportunities available. You can also get involved in research by participating in official research training programs. So you can check out the Office of Student Research that has a list of these programs that you can participate in. Oftentimes they're a semester long or a year long or a couple of years long programs that are facilitated and you get matched up to a faculty mentor. You can also participate in our department honors program. So if you are kind of in your later stages in the department, so mostly for seniors, you can apply for the honors program and you get to choose a faculty mentor that you want to work on doing an individual independent research with. One thing I want to mention is once you learn about research opportunities, you might have to apply and interview to officially join a lab. So be sure that you ask about the requirements as you reach out to faculty. So scientists, professors, principal investigators, other scholars often have help and assistance when they're completing their complex research projects. So we don't do this work on our own. So research assistants help by conducting research, discovering new information, and providing support in many other ways. So being an RA can be a time-intensive and demanding role that requires a high degree of responsibility and professionalism, but it's also a great way to get a strong letter of recommendation or a job reference from a faculty member, because you're working also in a team, so they really get to see you work in different settings. And this is, of course, a great way to learn more about research methods and build skills that can be applied to a variety of different careers. Sometimes you might be able to conduct your own independent research under the supervision and help of a faculty mentor, and you're gaining skills and knowledge that are not often learned in the classroom, and you're also developing a mentoring relationship with a faculty member. So this way, you're not just earning outstanding letters of recommendation, but you're also getting a chance to network with other students that have similar career goals as you. So I hope I've convinced you of why being involved in research, but also what being involved as a research assistant involves is just supporting faculty research in a variety of ways, and you often have an assigned time commitment that you're participating in. So one of the best ways to learn more about research that's being conducted by our faculty in the Child Development Department is by visiting the department website. We also have a page on the website with undergraduate student opportunities for you to check out. And of course, the Office of Student Research website for our campus is a great tool with resources and opportunities that you can get involved in. And feel free to reach out to me if you have questions or want some more information. I hope you all have a great time on your research journeys, whether it's getting involved in research through a class or really reaching out to faculty to get involved as part of a research lab or project.